We'll come in. Hello, I'm Crispina, a nurse from the Philippines. Join me as we learn the basics of German together.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Well done! This was the first 26 letters of the German alphabet, and as you can see, the German alphabet is similar to the English alphabet in terms of using the same characters, but the pronunciation is completely different. Now let's have a look at each letter and learn some German words. Let's start with the first letter, A. A. Please repeat after me. A. The letter A is pronounced like the A in the word astronaut, and in the longer version, it sounds like the A in the word far. Your first German word is Apfel, Apfel, which means apple. Let's continue with B, B, which is pronounced like the B in the word banana. And the translation of banana is in German, Banane, Banane. Let's have a look at the letter C, C, which is pronounced like the C in the word ice. In the German language, the words which normally start with the letter C is pronounced like the letter K. Here we have the word Chor, Chor, which means choir. D, D, D sounds like the D in the word doll. Here we have the example of the word Deutschland, Deutschland, which means Germany. Now let's have a look at the letter E, E, which is pronounced like the E in the word 10. The German word with the letter E is Elefant, Elefant, which means elephant. F, F, F is pronounced like the word fish, and the translation of fish in German is the same, fish, fish. The next letter is G, G. G is pronounced like the G in the word go, and the German word is Giraffe, Giraffe, which means giraffe. As you can see, the word Giraffe is written exactly the same way as in English, but the pronunciation is completely different. G, Giraffe. H, H is pronounced like the word house, and the German translation for house is house. That's pretty easy. House. The next letter is E, E, which is pronounced like in the short form, it, it. In the longer version, it's pronounced like the E in the word easy, easy. The German word with the letter E is Igel, Igel, which means hedgehog. J, J. The letter J is pronounced like the Y in the word yogurt. The German translation for yogurt is Joghurt, Joghurt. K, K is pronounced like the K in the word king. The German word is Kino, Kino, which means cinema. The next letter is L, L. L is pronounced like the L in the word love, and the translation for love in German is Liebe, Liebe. M, M is pronounced like the M in the word man, and the translation for man in German is Mann, Mann. N, N is pronounced like the N in the word night, and the translation for night in German is Nacht, Nacht. O, O is pronounced like orange, And the translation for orange in German is Orange. Orange. Now let's continue with P, which is pronounced like the word party. The translation for party in German is Party, Party. Q, which is pronounced like the Q in the word quiz. The translation for the word quiz is similar. In German, we say quiz as well. Quiz. R. For this letter, there's no equivalent in English. In order to pronounce this letter right, you have to gargle in the back of your throat until it starts to vibrate. R. Now try. That is how we officially pronounce the German R, but in some region in Germany, we also use the Spanish R. And the German word with the letter R is rot, which means red. S is pronounced like the sun. The translation for sun in German is Sonne. T is pronounced like the T in the word tea, and the German translation for tea is Tee. U is pronounced like the word you. The German word with the letter U is Uhr, which means clock. V is pronounced like the F in the word for. In German we have the word Vogel, which means bird. The next one is V, which sounds like the V in the word van. The German word with the letter V is Wasser, which means water. The next letter is X, which is pronounced like the X in the word xylophone. The German translation for xylophone is very similar. In German we say Xylophon. The next letter is Y, which sounds like yoga. In the German language, we don't have that many words starting with the letter Y, but we also have the same word, yoga. And the last letter is Z, which is pronounced like the S in the word bits. Here we have the example of the word Zoo, which means zoo. Now let's review what you just learned. You learned the 26 letters of the German alphabet and also 26 words. You also learned that there is no equivalent for the letter R, and that the letter V in German sounds like F in English, and that the letter W in German sounds like the V in English. Now let's have a look at the special letters called Umlaute. There are exactly 3 of them. The first one looks like this. It's an A with a double dot above the A. We call it Ä, or A umlaut. A umlaut. A umlaut is pronounced like the E in the word melon or in the A of the word H. The second umlaut is Ö, or O umlaut. Ö is pronounced like the word flirt or the word girl. The last umlaut is Ü, or U umlaut. For this letter, there's no equivalent in English. There is one more special letter in the German alphabet which looks like this. We call it SZ, or scharfes S, which means a sharp S. This letter is pronounced like the double S in the word kiss. And always remember, this letter, SZ, is the only letter that will never be at the beginning of a word. Now let's review what you just learned. You learned that altogether there are 30 letters in the German alphabet and that the extra letters are Ä, Ö, Ü, and SZ. And you also learned that SZ is the only letter that will never be at the beginning of a word. Colors in German is Farben, die Farben. The singular form of colors is die Farbe, Let's start with the first color, blue. In German we would say blau, red, rot, green, grün, and orange, orange. Blau, rot, grün, orange. Purple. For purple we have 2 words. violet, violet, or lila, lila. For pink, we also have two words. The first one is exactly the same as in English, pink, pink. And the second one is rosa, rosa. Then we have brown, braun, braun, and black, schwarz, schwarz. Violett, lila, pink, rosa, braun, schwarz. Yellow, gelb, gelb. Gray, grau, grau. And white, weiß, weiß. Gelb, grau, weiß. Gold, gold, gold. And silver, silber, silber. Gold, silber. Now we are done with the colors, but there are two more words which are important if you want to differentiate between the shades of a color. Let's have a look. The first word is dark. In German we say dunkel, dunkel. The second one is light, which is hell, hell. Dunkel, hell. For example, if you want to say dark blue, you would say dunkelblau, dunkelblau. Or light blue, hellblau, hellblau. This was less pronunciation. Let's start with 0. In German we say null, null, 1, eins, eins, 2, zwei, zwei, 3, drei, drei, 4, vier, vier, and 5, fünf, fünf, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, and 10, 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, and 15, 15. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16, 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, and 19, 19. 16, 17, 18, 19. Now German is 20, 20, 30, 30, 30, 40, 40, 40, and 50, 50, 50. 20, 30, 40, 50. 60, 60, 60, 70, 70, 70, 80, 80, 80, and 90, 90, 90. And the last one, 100, 100, 100, or you can also simply say 100, 100, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. What time is it? In German we have two options. The first option is Wie viel Uhr ist es? Wie viel Uhr ist es? Wie viel can be translated as how much. Uhr is the clock. It literally means how much clock is it? The second option is to ask Wie spät ist es? Wie spät ist es? The translation of spät is late. The second question literally means how late is it? So what time is it? Wie viel Uhr ist es? Wie spät ist es? Let's continue with phrase 1. If you want to get someone's attention before asking the question what time is it, you can use this phrase, excuse me please. In German we would say Entschuldigen Sie bitte, Entschuldigen Sie bitte. Let's continue with important vocabularies. The first one is time or times, die Zeit, die Zeiten, hour or hours, die Stunde, die Stunden, minute or minutes, die Minute, die Minuten, and second or seconds, die Sekunde, die Sekunden, die Zeit, die Zeiten, die Stunde, die Stunden, die Minute, die Minuten, die Sekunde, die Sekunden. Now we will start how to tell the time on the hour. The first phrase is it's o'clock. In German you would say es ist Uhr. Es ist Uhr. For example, it's 1 o'clock, we would say es ist 1 Uhr. Es ist 1 Uhr. If you want to say in a short form it's 1, then you would say es ist eins. Es ist eins. As you can see here, if you want to say it's 1 o'clock, then you have to say es ist 1 Uhr. Here you have to cut out the S in the word eins, which can be translated as 1. This is the only exception. It's 1 o'clock, es ist 1 Uhr. The short form, it's 1, es ist eins. Let's have a look at the second example. It's 2 o'clock. Again, it's the same pattern. Es ist 2 Uhr. Es ist 2 Uhr. And the short form, it's 2. Es ist 2. Es ist 2. Let's have a look at the vocabularies for before and after the hour. The first vocabulary is quarter in German, Viertel, Viertel. And the second one, past or after, nach, nach, and to or before, vor, vor. Viertel, nach, vor. So for example, if you want to say it's quarter past, you would say es ist Viertel nach. Es ist Viertel nach. And if you want to say it's quarter to, then you would say es ist Viertel vor. Es ist Viertel vor. Es ist Viertel nach. Es ist Viertel vor. Half in German is halb, halb. But if you want to say it's half past something in German, we rather use it's half an hour before. So we would say es ist halb. Es ist halb. So for example, it's 4:30 or 4:30 p.m. In German, we would say it's half an hour before 5. Es ist 4:30. Es ist 4:30. As you can see here, we don't say it's half an hour past 4, but we say it's half an hour before 5. Es ist 4:30. Now let's have a look at the vocabularies for a few minutes before. We would use the vocabulary past and after, again, nach, nach, and to or before, vor, vor, nach, vor. For example, it's 20 minutes past 5. We would say es ist 20 nach 5. Es ist 20 nach 5. So if you want to be more precise here with the translation of minutes, you can say es ist 20 Minuten nach 5. Es ist 20 Minuten nach 5. The second example is it's 5 minutes to 11. We would say es ist 5 vor 11. Es ist 5 vor 11. Again, here you can use the word minutes, which is es ist 5 Minuten vor 11. Es ist 5 Minuten vor 11. It's 20 minutes past 5. Es ist 20 nach 5. It's 5 minutes to 11. Es ist 5 vor 11. Now let's have a look at more important words. The first one is morning, der Morgen. Der Morgen. If you want to say in the morning, then you would say morgens. Morgens. Mid-morning, der Vormittag. Der Vormittag. And in the mid-morning, vormittags. Vormittags. Der Morgen, morgens. Der Vormittag, vormittags. Afternoon, der Nachmittag. Der Nachmittag. In the afternoon, nachmittags. Nachmittags. Evening, der Abend. Der Abend. In the evening, abends. Abends. Der Nachmittag, nachmittags. Der Abend, abends. Let's continue with night, die Nacht. Die Nacht. In the night, nachts. Nachts. Die Nacht, nachts. Day, der Tag. Der Tag. Noon, der Mittag. Der Mittag. And midnight, die Mitternacht. Die Mitternacht. Der Tag, der Mittag, die Mitternacht. And yesterday, gestern, gestern, today, heute, heute, and tomorrow, morgen, morgen. Gestern, heute, morgen. Now let's have a look at how to tell the time in the morning, in German, morgens. The morning starts with 6 o'clock in German, 6 Uhr. 6 Uhr. You can also be more specific and add the word in the morning. So you would say 6 Uhr morgens. 6 Uhr morgens, which can be translated as 6 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock, 7 Uhr. 7 Uhr. 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 Uhr morgens. 7 Uhr morgens, and so on until 11 Uhr, 11 Uhr, which can be translated as 11 o'clock. If you want to say 11 o'clock in the morning, then you would say 11 Uhr morgens, 11 Uhr morgens, 6 Uhr morgens, 7 Uhr morgens, 11 Uhr morgens. Then we will continue with in the afternoon, nachmittags. Here we have the time 12 Uhr, 12 Uhr, which can be translated as 12 o'clock. For 12 o'clock, you can simply say Mittag, Mittag, which can be translated as noon. For 1 o'clock, we have 13 Uhr, 13 Uhr. 2 o'clock, 14 Uhr, 14 Uhr. And 3 o'clock, 15 Uhr, 15 Uhr. For the time 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, 13 Uhr, 14 Uhr, 15 Uhr, you can also simply say 1 Uhr nachmittags, 2 Uhr nachmittags, or 3 Uhr nachmittags. 12 Uhr Mittag, 13 Uhr, 14 Uhr, 15 Uhr, 1 Uhr nachmittags, 2 Uhr nachmittags, and 3 Uhr nachmittags. We will still continue with in the afternoon, nachmittags. Here we have 4 o'clock, which is 16 Uhr, 16 Uhr, 5 o'clock, 17 Uhr, 17 Uhr, and 6 o'clock, 18 Uhr, 18 Uhr. For 4 and 5 o'clock, you can also use the term 4 Uhr nachmittags or 5 Uhr nachmittags. But for 6 o'clock, you have to use 6 Uhr abends, 6 Uhr abends, which can be translated as 6 o'clock in the evening. So remember, from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you still can use the word afternoon, which is nachmittags. But starting with 6 o'clock in the evening, you have to use the word abends, 6 Uhr abends. 4 Uhr nachmittags, 5 Uhr nachmittags, 16 Uhr, 17 Uhr, 18 Uhr, and 6 Uhr abends. Now we will have a look at the evening, which is abends. Here we have 7 o'clock, which is 19 Uhr, 19 Uhr, 8 o'clock, 20 Uhr, 20 Uhr, and so on until 23 Uhr, 23 Uhr, which is 11 o'clock. Also for the time from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the evening, you can use the term 7 Uhr abends, 8 Uhr abends, and so on until 11 Uhr abends. 23 Uhr, 20 Uhr, 19 Uhr, 7 Uhr abends, 8 Uhr abends, 11 Uhr abends. So now we will again start with the morning, which is morgens. We will start here with Mitternacht, Mitternacht, which is midnight, or 12 Uhr nachts, 12 Uhr nachts, which can be translated as 12 o'clock in the night. For 1 o'clock in the morning, we would say 1 Uhr morgens, 1 Uhr morgens. 2 o'clock, 2 Uhr morgens, 2 Uhr morgens, and so on until 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 Uhr morgens, 5 Uhr morgens. Mitternacht, 12 Uhr nachts, 1 Uhr morgens, 2 Uhr morgens, 5 Uhr morgens. Now let's continue with phrase number 2 and 3. The second phrase is I'm too late in German. Ich bin zu spät. Ich bin zu spät. And the third phrase, I will be back in an hour. Ich bin in einer Stunde wieder zurück. Ich bin in einer Stunde wieder zurück. Here we have the verb bin, zurück, which is to be back, the infinitive form, zurück sein. Zurück sein. So I'm too late. Ich bin zu spät. I will be back in an hour. Ich bin in einer Stunde wieder zurück. Let's have a closer look at the verb to be back, zurück sein. I'm back. Ich bin zurück. Ich bin zurück. You are back. Du bist zurück. Du bist zurück. And he, she, it is back. Er, sie, es ist zurück. Er, sie, es ist zurück. Ich bin zurück. Du bist zurück. Er, sie, es ist zurück. We are back. Wir sind zurück. You are back. Ihr seid zurück. And they are back. Sie sind zurück. Wir sind zurück. Ihr seid zurück. Sie sind zurück. Let's continue with phrase number 4. We will see each other at 1:30. Wir sehen uns 1:30. Wir sehen uns 1:30. To see each other can be translated as sehen uns, and remember, 1:30 literally means half an hour before 2. We will see each other at 1:30. Wir sehen uns 1:30. Punctual or on time in German is pünktlich, pünktlich, and rechtzeitig, rechtzeitig, pünktlich, rechtzeitig. Phrase number 5 is sorry that I'm late. In a formal way, we would say entschuldigen Sie die Verspätung. Entschuldigen Sie die Verspätung. Verspätung can be translated as delay, and the exact translation of the sentence is sorry for the delay. Entschuldigen Sie die Verspätung. In an informal way, we would say, Entschuldige, dass ich zu spät komme. Entschuldige, dass ich zu spät komme. Das can be translated as that and spät is late. Entschuldige, dass ich zu spät komme. The first word is and in German und, but, aber, very, sehr, or, oder, und, aber, sehr, oder. The next ones are here, also, auch, both, beide, and some, etwas. Hier, auch, beide, etwas. Let's continue with only, nur, again, wieder, hopefully, hoffentlich, and between, zwischen, nur, wieder, hoffentlich, zwischen. And the next ones, therefore, deshalb, so, also, really, wirklich, and together, zusammen. Deshalb, also, wirklich, zusammen. And the last ones, all, alle, now, jetzt, already, schon, immediately, sofort, alle, jetzt, schon, sofort. Let's start with the first day, Monday. Montag, which is masculine, der Montag. The days of the week are all masculine, therefore it's easy to remember. Let's continue with Tuesday, Dienstag, der Dienstag. Wednesday, Mittwoch, der Mittwoch. Montag, Dienstag, Mittwoch. Thursday, Donnerstag, der Donnerstag. Friday, Freitag, der Freitag. Saturday, Samstag, der Samstag. And Sunday, Sonntag, der Sonntag. Donnerstag, Freitag, Samstag, Sonntag. Day or days in German is Tag, which is masculine, der Tag. The plural form is die Tage, Week or weeks, Woche, which is feminine, die Woche. The plural form is Wochen, die Wochen. Tag, Tage, Woche, Wochen. Month or months, Monat, which is masculine, der Monat, and the plural form Monate, die Monate. Year or years, Jahr, which is neuter, das Jahr, and the plural form Jahre, die Jahre. Monat, Monate, Jahr, Jahre. Today in German we would say heute. Tomorrow, morgen, and tonight, heute Abend. Heute, morgen, heute Abend. Yesterday, gestern. Last night, gestern Abend. Gestern, Abend. Let's have a look at how to say daily. In German we would say täglich, weekly, wöchentlich, monthly, monatlich, and yearly, jährlich. Täglich, wöchentlich, monatlich, and jährlich. If you want to say on Mondays, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays, you would say montags, dienstags, and mittwochs. Montags, dienstags, mittwochs. Let's have a look at on Thursdays to Sundays, donnerstags, freitags, samstags, and sonntags. Donnerstags, freitags, samstags, sonntags. This was Januar, February, Februar, Februar. March, März, März. Januar, Februar, März. April, April, April. May, Mai, Mai. June, Juni, Juni. April, Mai, Juni. July, Juli, Juli. August, August, August. September, September, September. Juli, August, September. October, Oktober, Oktober. November, November, November. And December, Dezember, Dezember. October, November, Dezember. The article for the months are all the same, which is der. Now let's repeat the months one more time. Januar, Februar, März, April, Mai, Juni. Juli, August, September, Oktober, November, Dezember. Let's continue with the question, when is your birthday? Wann hast du Geburtstag? Wann hast du Geburtstag? Wann means when, hast means to have, du means you, and Geburtstag means birthday and is masculine. Der Geburtstag. When is your birthday? Wann hast du Geburtstag? Let's have a closer look at the verb haben, which means to have. Haben is a really important verb in the German language and is irregular. Let's have a look at the singular form. I have, ich habe, you have, du hast, he, she, it has, sie, es hat. Ich habe, du hast, hat, sie hat, es hat. Now the plural form. We have, wir haben. You have, ihr habt. And they have, sie haben. Wir haben, ihr habt, sie haben. Let's have a look at how the verb haben, to have, can be used in the German language. For example, I am hungry or I'm hungry. In German, we also use the verb haben and we would say, ich habe Hunger. Ich habe Hunger. Now let's continue with the answer to the question, when is your birthday? For example, you could answer, my birthday is in July. Mein Geburtstag ist im Juli. Mein Geburtstag ist im Juli. If you want to say in a certain month, always use the word im, which means in. The first greeting is good morning. In German, we would say Guten Morgen. Guten Morgen. Remember, I told you in the last lesson, you always have to learn the noun with the gender. Morgen is masculine, der Morgen. So good morning, Guten Morgen. Let's move on to hello or good day. In German, we say Guten Tag. Guten Tag. Tag is masculine, der Tag. The next one, good evening. Guten Abend. Guten Abend. Abend is masculine, der Abend. So good evening, Guten Abend. Now let's move on with good night. Gute Nacht. Gute Nacht. Nacht is feminine, die Nacht. If you want to say simply hello, you can say hallo. Hallo. Gute Nacht. Hallo. Now let's move on with goodbye. In German, we have two common ways of saying goodbye. The first one is quite formal. We say Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen. Wiedersehen actually means reunion and is neuter. Das Wiedersehen. So goodbye in a formal way, Auf Wiedersehen. If you want to be more informal or if you are talking to your friends, you can simply say Tschüss. Tschüss. So for goodbye, Auf Wiedersehen, Tschüss. If you want to say see you later, in German we would say Bis später. Bis später. Bis actually means until and später means later. So see you later, bis später. See you soon, in German we would say bis bald. Bis bald. Also here, bis actually means until and bald means soon. Bis später, bis bald. See you tomorrow. Bis morgen. Bis morgen. Again, bis means until. So see you tomorrow. Bis morgen. If you want to say thank you, in German you would say Danke. Danke. You can add either schön or sehr, which actually means thanks a lot. Danke schön, danke sehr. Or also vielen Dank. Vielen Dank. So we have 4 ways of saying thank you. Danke, danke schön, danke sehr, and vielen Dank. You're welcome in German is bitte schön, bitte schön. And please, bitte, bitte, bitte schön, bitte. If you want to say I'm sorry, in German you would say es tut mir leid. Es tut mir leid. If you want to say excuse me to beg pardon, you would say Entschuldigung. Entschuldigung. But if you want to say excuse me please in order to get attention, you would say Entschuldigen Sie bitte. Entschuldigen Sie bitte. In the case of excuse me, in order to ask someone to say it again, you would say wie bitte? Wie bitte? And if you simply can't understand anything, you definitely would need this question. Do you speak English? In a formal way, we would say Sprechen Sie Englisch? Sprechen Sie Englisch? Sprechen means to speak, Sie is the formal form of you, and English means English. In an informal way, you would ask Sprichst du Englisch? Sprichst du Englisch? This form in the first and second person. In the first person, we have the word ich, which is equivalent to I. In the second person, we have the word du, which means you. If you want to address someone in a formal way, in German we also have the word Sie, which means you. Ich, du, sie. Now let's have a look at the third person. In the third person we have the word er, which means he, sie, which is equivalent to she, and es, which means it. Er, sie, es. Now let's continue in the plural form in the first, second, and third person. In the first person we have the word wir, which is equivalent to we. In the second person we have the word ihr, which means you. Also here in the second person plural we have the formal form of you, which is sie as well. And in the third person plural we have the word sie, which means they. Maybe you already noticed that the word sie is used for both she and they. Therefore you have to figure out the difference from the context. And also the formal form of you in the singular and plural form, sie, is always capitalized. Wir, ihr, sie, sie. Now we will continue with German nouns and gender and also with the definite and indefinite articles. First of all, I want to mention that German is the only language that capitalizes all nouns, and the second thing is the most important thing for English speakers to understand about German nouns is the matter of gender. You will see that German nouns have different genders. Let's have a look at the definite articles in the nominative case. As I already mentioned, in German we have 3 different genders, der, die, and das, which is equivalent to the English the. I want to start with the first gender, which is the masculine form, der. Here we have the example of the noun Mann, der Mann, which is equivalent to the man. We just learned about the personal pronouns. The personal pronouns of der Mann is er, which can be translated as he. Now let's have a look at der, die, das in the feminine form. Here we have the example of die Frau, which is equivalent to the woman. Also here we have the personal pronouns sie, which means she. In the last case we have the gender das, which is the neuter form. In this case we have the example of das Mädchen, which means the girl. Sometimes gender is natural, as you just saw in the previous cases. Der Mann, which means the man is masculine, and die Frau, which means the woman is feminine. But this is not always the case. Here you can see das Mädchen, which actually means the girl, is neuter. So to sum up, there is no specific rule about the gender. The most important thing is that you have to learn all the nouns with their gender. Let's continue with das Mädchen. We already learned the personal pronouns for that. In the neuter form, we say es, which means it. Now let's have a look at die das in the case of the plural form. In the plural form, we have die Männer, which means man, die Frauen, which means women, and die Mädchen, which means girls. Here you can see that the gender for the plural form is always die. The personal pronouns for that is sie, which means they. Now let's have a closer look how the noun is changing from the singular form to the plural form. Let's start with the singular form of the word der Mann, which means the man. In the plural form, der Mann is changing to die Männer, which means man. In the second case, we have the word die Frau, which means the woman. In the case of die Frau, in the plural form, it changes to die Frauen, which means women. Der Mann, die Männer, die Frau, die Frauen. In the last case, we have the example of the word das Mädchen, which means the girl. In the plural form, we also have die Mädchen, which means girls. As you can see, in the case of Mädchen, there is no changes at all. Das Mädchen, die Mädchen. Now let's continue with the indefinite articles, ein and eine, which means a or an. First, let's have a look at the nominative case in the masculine form. Here we will use the same noun like before, ein Mann, which means a man. Ein basically means one, and like the definite article, it indicates the gender of the noun it goes with. So ein Mann means a man. In the case of the feminine form, we have the example of eine Frau, which means a woman. And in the last case, in the neuter case, we have the example of ein Mädchen, which means a girl. To sum up what we just learned about the indefinite articles, we can say that for the feminine form, only eine can be used, and for the masculine and neuter form, only ein is correct.